Lucci, you may proceed.
Chairman Molinar, Ranking Member Khanna, and members of the committee. My name is Michael Lucci. I'm the founder and CEO of State Armor, a nonprofit that works with state governments to protect the American homeland. My message is simple. The American homeland is contested. States are on the front lines of this contest. And the Chinese Communist Party is exploiting vulnerabilities at the state and local level that can go overlooked here in Washington, D.C. My remarks will focus on prepositioning near critical assets, influence operations, their impact on state institutions, state protective responses with a focus on Nebraska and Texas, and finally, the pressure campaigns that have been put upon the state lawmakers who've enacted these protective responses. First, on prepositioning. Federal leaders have been very clear that the Chinese Communist Party is prepositioning on critical infrastructure and creating vulnerabilities in our supply chains. What state leaders find is that they are also physically prepositioning near military installations. I'll give just a few examples. A former officer in the People's Liberation Army bought 140,000 acres near Laughlin Air Force Base in Texas, where he tried to directly access the Texas energy grid near the base. Huawei equipment surrounded nuclear missile silos in western Nebraska. Fufang Group was building a grain silo 12 miles from Grand Forks Air Force Base until the Air Force itself said that this was a clear national security threat. Governor Cox of Utah removed a CCP front company from its industrial location near a weapons testing facility in Utah. And then property owners tied to Chinese intelligence have been found with properties that literally touch the fence lines of Whiteman Air Force Base and Barksdale Air Force Base in Missouri and in Louisiana. Such prepositioning allows for surveillance. Someday it could allow for sabotage of those assets. States have taken action to mitigate these threats that they see in their backyard. On influence operations to penetrate state institutions, from our view, the penetration of universities is a national security crisis. The interference operations in state houses, which I'll discuss later, is a scandal. Reports from this committee have documented thousands of federally funded, military-focused grants that go to American universities who then turn around and partner with entities in China tied to China's military and defense industrial base to develop military technologies. So the way we see it is we are funding their military modernization through our Pentagon grants, Department of Energy grants. These partnerships are inexcusable, but from what we've seen, they are the tip of the iceberg for infiltration of our universities. In terms of state responses, Nebraska and Texas have been the leading states. Most of this work has been bipartisan. In Nebraska in particular, Republican Governor Jim Pillen partners with State Senator Elliott Bostar of Lincoln, a Democrat, for the best model of bipartisan teamwork at the state level. In Texas, Governor Abbott has led with executive orders, and the legislature has enacted overwhelming bipartisan responses to protect state assets in Texas. I'll give you a few examples of what's occurred in these states. Creation of committees to prepare for the fallout, the domestic fallout of a Pacific conflict. Military, critical infrastructure, and supply chain protections. Foreign agent registration for adversary nations. Bans on Chinese Communist Party funds in lobbying and state houses. The first laws in the country on transnational repression came first in Texas and then second in Nebraska. Protections of research security and campus integrity, pension divestment, and protecting genetic data of Americans from the People's Liberation Army. Finally, Texas even created a state cyber command to counteract threats that are hitting small communities across Texas, rural and otherwise. In addition, the attorneys general of these states, Mike Hilgers in Nebraska and Ken Paxton in Texas, have driven consumer fraud cases against Chinese technology providers based upon the claim that these technologies contain backdoors or dangerous malware that is not disclosed to the consumer. They've worked with the FCC on this project. Yet when states push back against threats, they encounter sophisticated pressure campaigns. Jamestown Foundation's Cheryl Yu describes how the Chinese Communist Party's United Front system co-opts individuals, nonprofits, and businesses to advance party interests. This happens in state houses. State Senator Elliott Bostar testified earlier this month before the CECC that he personally received threats from a large Chinese business in the state of Nebraska about what might happen to the economy of Nebraska if Senator Bostar's foreign agent registration bill advanced. Governor Pillen of Nebraska has come out and said that he would prefer that Chinese Communist Party companies that engage this behavior just leave the state of Nebraska. Digital threats have been sent to people who testify in front of committees in Nebraska. Omaha reportedly has a United Front service station. In Texas, lawmakers and Chinese Americans who testify in committee in favor of these protective measures have received threats. Chinese Communist Party state media talking points are repeated in hearings for hours in Texas, even when they have no relation to the underlying bill. Pastor Bob Fu in Texas has been a victim of transnational repression. There was even a hearing of Texas's equivalent committee of your committee. So Texas had a committee on foreign adversary threats. That hearing was shut down by a cyber attack in September of 2024. This is not normal advocacy. It is a pressure campaign from a non-democratic actor acting within our democratic system. It happens across the country, although I highlight just the examples of Nebraska and Texas today. Our openness is a strength. So is our federalist system. But our open system cannot endure endless attacks and exploitation from state actors who do not agree with our democratic values. Thank you for addressing these concerns. Thank you for interest in influence operations at the subnational level, and I look forward to your questions.